Live from Juba, on air and online.
This is iRadio News.
Hello, good afternoon. This is iRadio News. First, here are the headlines. The Minister of General Education and Instruction, Kuyok Abol Kuyok, says the primary aid exams will start on November 24th and run until November 29th, while senior 4 exams will begin on December 1st and finish on December 9th, 2025. Former Central Bank Governor Dr. Addis Ababa Utho has commended President Salva Kiir for giving him the chance to serve as the country's top financial official. And a member of parliament has called on the government to fix the deteriorating Juba-Lanya Ye Kaya Road, urging the parliament to summon the Minister of Roads and Bridges for explanation. Tune in for these stories and more coming to this news bulletin with me, Wol Mapal. Now the news in detail. The Minister of General Education and Instruction, Kuyok Abol Kuyok, says the primary aid exams will start on November 24th and run until November 29th, while senior 4 exams will begin on December 1st and finish on December 9th, 2025. Minister Kuyok made the announcement this morning at a media briefing at the ministry in Juba. He says 84,815 candidates have registered for the 2025 certificates of primary education. Of these, 45,545 are boys and 39,269 are girls. They come from 1,953 schools across 551 exam centers. The minister says the number of candidates taking the P8 exams has gone up by 15,535 compared to last year when 70,010 students sat for the exams. For the Certificate of Secondary Education, 44,364 candidates have registered, including 25,863 boys and 18,501 girls. At least 667 of them are refugees, including 428 boys and 239 girls. Minister Kuyok also says there are 120 technical candidates, 92 boys and 28 girls, and 30 commercial candidates, 23 boys and 7 girls from 510 schools nationwide. He noted that the number of candidates sitting for the senior 4 exams has dropped by 5,640 compared to last year's total of 50,004. He explains in the following statement to the media.
All examination processes and the official examination administration dates have been confirmed. The CPE and the CSE examinations will commence on Monday, 25th November 2025 and will conclude on Friday, 29th November 2025. For CPE, while the CSE examinations will commence on Monday, the 1st December 2025 and will conclude on Tuesday, the 9th December 2025, as detailed in the official timetables attached herewith. The timetable will be displayed immediately after this statement.
Minister Kuyok cautions stakeholders to exercise high standard and professionalism during the supervisions of the national exams.
I would also like to remind all supervisors, invigilators, monitors, and security personnel that the credibility and integrity of our national examinations are of utmost importance to the Council and the nation at large. The conduct of examinations must reflect the highest standards of fairness, transparency, and professionalism. All those entrusted with examination management must familiarize themselves with the Council's examination conduct and invigilation guidelines as outlined in the official guidebooks. These must be strictly adhered to ensure that examinations are conducted in a secure and conducive environment for all candidates.
Former Central Bank Governor Dr. Addis Ababa Utho has commended President Salva Kiir for giving him the chance to serve as the country's top financial official. Dr. Utho's statement comes hours after his removal from office. President Kiir dismissed Dr. Utho on Wednesday, along with former Vice President Dr. Benjamin Ball, the head of the Revenue Authority Simon Okwe-Deng, and Professor Paul Lugale, who was also removed as the SPLM Secretary General. The changes were announced in a series of presidential decrees read on SSBC. In a separate decree, the president appointed Yeni Samuel Costa as the new governor of the Bank of South Sudan, replacing Dr. Utho. Following his removal, Dr. Utho released a statement expressing his gratitude to the president for what he called the honor to serving the nation. In his message, Dr. Utho said he extended his sincere thanks and appreciation to President Salva Kiir for the honor and trust he bestowed upon him to serve as governor of the Bank of South Sudan. He said during his time at the bank, he was able to achieve a number of goals, including strengthening monetary stability, modernizing the banking and payment systems, improving governance, and restoring public confidence in the national currency. Dr. Utho further stated that he accepted his release from the responsibility and expressed his continued support to his administration. A member of parliament has called on the government to fix the deteriorating Juba-Lanya-Ye Kaya Road, urging the parliament to summon the Minister of Roads and Bridges for explanation. Speaking in parliament on Wednesday, Dusman Joyce James Lesuk, MP for Lanya County, described the road as bad and difficult. She lamented that the highway, a vital trade and transport corridor linking South Sudan's capital to Uganda and the Democratic Republic of Congo through Ye and Kaya, has been neglected despite repeated calls for maintenance and rehabilitation. Joyce said the state ministry told them the road is classified as a national road, but the national ministry has not responded. She highlighted that the section between mile 55 and mile 59 in Lanya County is in very poor condition.
My information is about the road Juba-Lanya-Ye Kaya Road. Right, Honorable Speaker, the road that I'm mentioning now, the road is not in a good condition, and we don't know why every year this road there is no one who is attending into this road. If you go to mile 55, 59, if now you go to Lanya, mile 55 to 59, if you see the road is in that condition. And we are really requesting the Minister of Road, because we went there several times, there is no any answer. We went to the state, we are told that the road is a national road, you see. So now really we need to know why this road is a problem to us. Otherwise the other roads, ministers can move to all other roads. But this road, the Minister of Road is not going to decide. I want the Minister to come here and tell us why he is not going to see exactly what is happening. And the food which is coming from that side is the one who is feeding Juba. Thank you.
The Juba-Lanya-Ye Kaya Road is one of South Sudan's key transport routes. It stretches from Juba through Lanya and Ye to the border town of Kaya. The road is a lifeline for trade, humanitarian access, and the movement of people between South Sudan and its southern neighbors. Before years of conflict and neglect, the road was busy with commercial traffic, moving goods, agricultural produce, and fuel between Uganda and South Sudan, and supporting the livelihoods of communities along the route. This is iRadio Afternoon News. National ministers have received induction training ahead of the resumption of cabinet meetings tomorrow. The development follows an announcement by the Minister of Cabinet Affairs, Dr. Martin Elia Lomro, who confirmed the formal resumption of cabinet sessions this Friday, November 14, 2025, ending a 9-month halt in regular governmental meetings. Dr. Lomro said the orientation targeted both new ministers and returning ministers who had not previously received induction. He explained that the training focused on understanding governance structures, cabinet decision-making processes, and ministerial responsibilities. Minister Lomro stressed the importance of ministers' being well prepared for effective administration and policy implementation. It described the initiative as part of efforts to strengthen government cohesion and enhance service delivery to citizens. Dr. Martin Elia Lumro made the remarks during an interview on SSBC yesterday.
Is that we have new ministers who have never been in the cabinet before. We also have old ministers who did not attend any induction. But overall, we wanted to bring ourselves to one page in order to understand governance and how the cabinet makes decisions. And we took them through governance, the procedures, and give them strong advice on their responsibility as ministers in how to conduct administration of the geopolitical.
Elsewhere, the South Sudan Revenue Authority has commended its outgoing Commissioner General Simon Okwei Deng following his removal from office in a presidential decree issued last evening. President Salva Kiir removed Deng from his position as Commissioner General of Revenue Authority alongside former Vice President Dr. Benjamin Ball, former Central Bank Governor Dr. Addis Ababa Utho, and former SPLM Secretary General Professor Paul Lugale. President Kiir then appointed William Anyuan Kwol as the Commissioner General to replace Deng. In a statement issued Wednesday evening, the authority said Deng was dedicated to service, leadership and commitment towards strengthening domestic revenue mobilization and institutional reforms during his tenure. The statement said under his leadership, tax agencies said were made notable progress in enhancing tax compliance, improving administrative systems and promoting transparency and accountability in revenue collection. It said that his contribution to nation building remains deeply valued and appreciated. The agency also welcomed the incoming Commissioner General Kwol and said it's looking forward to his leadership to further advance the authority's mandate to building a sustainable, transparent, efficient revenue system for the prosperity of South Sudan. Meanwhile, the outgoing Commissioner General Okwei said he is honored to have served in the opposition in appreciation to President Salva Kiir. In the statement seen by iRadio, Deng thanked Kiir for the opportunity of serving under his leadership. Finally, the Central Equatorial State Minister of Local Government and Law Enforcement Agencies says mobility challenges and limited cooperation are hindering anti-drug efforts in the state. Minister Leon Habe Brown made the remarks during a State Security Committee meeting chaired by Governor Rabi Mujung Emmanuel on Tuesday. The meeting focused on security issues affecting citizens' health and safety. During the session, the Director of Drugs Control presented a report highlighting the growing use of illicit drugs in the state. The report cited operational challenges including limited mobility and weak cooperation among agencies, which continue to undermine anti-drug operations. Security officials at the meeting pledged to strengthen coordination and step up efforts to curb the rising threat of drug abuse. Leon Habe Brown said the State Security Committee had summoned the Director of Drugs Control to explain the situation.
The Central Equatorial State Security Committee, headed by His Excellency Rabi Emmanuel, summoned the Director of the Drugs Control here. He came and explained us why they are unable to control on this drug infliction in Central Equatorial State, which we listened to that report. Among all these is the mobility. He is facing a lot of problems and challenges, the mobility, how to pursue in combating these drugs. Two, lack of cooperation also. At times when they happen to arrest, then there is also.
You are listening to iRadio Afternoon News, and joining us live for the regional international stories is James Atem.
Thank you, Wol Mapal. Let's begin with the region. A young Nigerian soldier has been widely praised on social media after footage of him standing his ground against a powerful government minister went viral. The soldier, identified as Lieutenant General Yerimi, was part of a unit that prevented Federal Capital Territory Minister Yesom Witke from accessing a disputed plot of land in Abuja on Tuesday. In the video, which has been viewed millions of times, the minister is seen becoming increasingly agitated as Yerima, citing orders from his superior, calmly refuses entry. calmly refuses him entry rather. Elsewhere, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio has called for international action to cut weapon supplies to Sudan paramilitary rapid support forces following reports of mass killings in Al-Fashir. At the end of G7's foreign ministers meeting in Canada, Rubio said the RSF had committed systematic atrocities, including murder, rape, and sexual violence against civilians. Sudan's military accused the United Arab Emirates of supporting the group with weapons and mercenaries sent by African nations. The UAE has repeatedly denied the allegations. The RSF has been fighting the Sudanese army since April 2023, when a power struggle between their leaders erupted into a civil war. And finally, Democrats were left bruised after a historic shutdown yields little after 43 days. The longest U.S. government shutdown in history came to an end. Federal workers will start receiving pay, national parks will reopen, government services that had been curtailed or suspended entirely will resume. Air travel, which became a nightmare for many Americans, will return to be merely frustrating. Senate Democrats, through their use of the parliamentary filibuster, were able to trigger the shutdown despite being a minority in the chamber by refusing to go along with the Republican measure to temporarily fund the government. And that has been the regional and international news with me, James Satem. Now back to you, Wol Mapal.
Thank you so much, James Tim, for the regional and international updates. Up next is sports with Emmanuel Joseph Akile.
Nigeria will face Gabon while Cameroon meets the Democratic Republic of Congo on Thursday in the semi-finals of Africa's playoff series for a spot in the 2026 FIFA World Cup Intercontinental Playoffs. The winners will clash on Sunday in Rabat, while the visitor with the victor earning the chance to compete next March for one of two World Cup slots. The Intercontinental Playoffs will include representatives from Africa, Central America, Caribbean, Bolivia, New Caledonia, and either Iraq or the UAE. Nigeria enters the semi-finals as the firm favorites, while Cameroon slightly ahead in expectations and speculations to reach the final, as both nations continue their pursuit of a place among the 48 teams set to compete in the United States, Canada, and Mexico. Last month, the 10-round African qualifying competition concluded with Algeria, Cape Verde, Egypt, Ghana, Ivory Coast, Morocco, Senegal, South Africa, and Tunisia securing qualification as group winners. Elsewhere, Stephen Curry scored 46 points as the Golden State Warriors inflicted a first home NBA defeat of the season on the San Antonio Spurs. The two-time most valuable player MVP helped the Warriors end a 6-game losing streak on the road with a 125 to 120 point victory at Frost Bank Center in Texas. And finally, the Los Angeles 2028 Olympics will kick off with a bang, with the women's 100-meter final taking place a day when the men's 100 final on the second day, says World Athletics President Lord Coy. The opening ceremony of the games will be on 14 July and the closing ceremony on 30th July, while the athletics, which will run for the entire games starting in the first week, the swimming in the second, is a historic swap. That's all from the world of sports.
And here brings us to the end of our stories this afternoon, but first let's have a quick recap of our headlines once again. The Minister of General Education and Instruction, Kuyok Habol Kuyok, says the primary 8 exams will start on November 24th and run until November 29th, while senior 4 exams will begin on December 1st and finish on December 9th, 2025. Former Central Bank Governor Dr. Hadis Hababa Hutho has commended President Salva Kiir for giving him the chance to serve as the country's top financial official. And the Member of Parliament has called on the government to fix the deteriorating Juba Lanya Ye Kaya Road, urging the Parliament to summon the Minister of Roads and Bridges for explanation. That is the end of our the afternoon news. If there is a story or an event you would like our reader to cover or report about, please send us a text message on +211 925 287 870. It's also our WhatsApp number. Follow us on X at iRadio Juba. Like our Facebook page, iRadio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at iRadio South Sudan. You can also visit our website and listen to us online at www.iradio.org. Stay tuned for news in Arabic at half past the hour. I am Wol Mapal. Thank you for listening.